Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel, and we're going to have some fighting words. But before we go any further, I need you to like this video and also subscribe to my channel. So let's talk about this. Who deserves to be the pound for pound king? It has Canelo Alvarez and Oleksandr Usyk. Now, I really don't know why this is such a hard question for anybody. I'm sorry. I get it. Canelo has moved up, many weight classes, and he's done some amazing things. He's had some amazing fights. He's definitely fought some guys that are more than likely going to go down as legends in the sport. But Oleksandr Usyk just beat the unified heavyweight champion. Oleksandr Usyk is now the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Is there even a question? Is that even a question? I mean, honestly, what is higher than the heavyweight championship of the world? Nothing. Nothing is higher than that. I don't care who you are. Nothing is higher than that. Floyd Mayweather has done some amazing things in the sport. He's never achieved the heavyweight championship of the world. Manny Pacquiao, amazing things in the sport. He's never achieved the heavyweight championship of the world. What are we talking about? I don't even understand why this is even a question. I get it. Listen, we all love Canelo. He gives us memorable fights. And that's why we love him. And he comes in there with that fire and a whole lot of passion. He gets people out of there. That's why we like him. And on top of that, there's skill along with it. He's not just some rough and tough brawler. He's a thinking fighter. But he is not pound for pound the best. I'm sorry, it's Oleksandr Usyk. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. Oleksandr Usyk is a unified heavyweight champion. That's what it is. That's what it is. Now, if Canelo wants to take his butt all the way up, which I don't think would be a wise decision, but if that's what he wants to do, and he wants to fight for it, by all means, do yourself a Roy Jones. But I think it takes a special individual like Roy Jones to get away with it. I don't think Canelo has the legs for that. Do I think Canelo could make heavyweight? I think Canelo could probably hit like 180, maybe possibly 190, possibly but the size advantage would be ridiculously crazy. Canelo doesn't want any part of Usyk at cruiser. Nonetheless, who's he fighting at heavyweight? Yeah, you're going to have the speed factor, but you're going to use all that speed running away during the whole fight. There's no way Canelo Alvarez is pound for pound over Oleksandr Usyk. I'm sorry. He's done some amazing things. He's definitely all over the place right now. I mean, he is by far the most active fighter we have out there. And another reason why we salute him, because he's doing it. And he's not just doing this, he's doing it. You look at the 130, 135 division. All these guys do is this. They don't do any fighting. They just talk. They just talk and Instagram and Twitter beef. That's all they do. Canelo Alvarez comes in there. He actually gets in there. And he's climbing ladders. He's making history. And we love him for it. We salute him for it. But to say that he's pound for pound, I'm sorry. I can't give you that. Number one, Usyk was the unified champion at cruiserweight. He beat everybody. There was nobody left. He captured all the belts, and he's like, all right, on to bigger, better things. In his second fight, he's unified heavyweight champion of the world. That's pretty impressive, people. I'm sorry. And I know people love Canelo. I love Canelo too. But I can't lie. I can't lie. I'm sorry. I can't lie. It would. I have too much respect for the sport. I have too much respect for Usyk to sit there and say, what is this, a popularity contest? If it's a popularity contest, well, then obviously Canelo. If it's a popularity contest, well, not really. I mean, he's only 2 months removed. If it's a popularity contest, I'll say Manny Pacquiao. How about that? If it's a popularity contest, but if we're just talking about what you've done I'm sorry. Usyk is a little bit more impressive. It is what it is. It's a little bit more impressive. Usyk is a smaller guy, and he's with giants right now, and he just beat a giant. It's impressive. It is. After he conquered another division completely, completely. You know, he didn't leave any stones unturned. Completely dominated. Goes up in his second fight. He's a unified heavyweight champion of the world. Now, if you can tell me how it makes sense to say that Canelo Alvarez is pound for pound number one over Oleksandr Usyk, by all means, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear the argument, you know, but I don't understand why this is a thing unless we're talking popularity, unless we're talking about who's selling more tickets, because that's the only thing that you can come up with. That's the only thing that anybody can come up with. You can't say his resume. Okay, now if we want to talk resumes, then all right, now we're making arguments. If you just want to talk resumes, but I'm sorry, you really can't go there either, because everybody in Canelo's resume is a lot smaller. Nobody in Canelo's resume is going to beat Usyk in a fight. Nobody. Usyk's going to like wipe the floor with everybody in Canelo's resume. Canelo might be able to beat one or two people on Usyk's resume because they're bigger. Because they're bigger. I'm sorry, they're bigger. Canelo is not going to beat up Tony Bellew. He isn't. I'm sorry. Canelo's not going to, I mean, maybe now. I mean, but like at his height, at his, you know, at his prime, Canelo's not beating up Tony Bellew. I'm sorry, he's not. He's not. And I have to say what I have to say. Canelo's not beating up Tony Bellew. And I'm mentioning Tony Bellew because he's not the most decorated guy in the world. But, you know, he is who he is. You know what I'm saying? And he's a good fighter. He's a smart fighter. He's a thinking fighter. He's not just a brawler. He's not just a guy who has a hard punch, which he does have a hard punch. But Canelo can't beat him. And you're telling me that he's a better fighter than Oleksandr Usyk? Get out of here. I'm sorry. I'm not buying. I'm not subscribing to that. I'm sorry. There's no way. There's no way. Oleksandr Usyk right now is the pound for pound number one champion, period. Period. Until the rematch with Anthony Joshua is settled, Usyk is number one. Usyk is the king on that throne, whether we like it or not. Whether we like it or not, it is what it is. That's the gist of this video. It's just, you know, I saw it and I'm just like, I get it. You know, he's popular and he's Canelo. But we just can't say these things just to say them and put these things out there and try to make it like a real argument. It's not a real argument. It's a very false argument. What in fact are we arguing? Usyk would wipe the floor with everyone on Canelo's resume. How many people on Usyk's resume is Canelo going to beat? Canelo's not going to knock out Derek Chisora. Like, I'm sorry. He's not. He's not going to. And Derek Chisora is nothing special. But Canelo's not going to knock him out. So, what are we really saying here? What are we saying? You know, we got to be honest. We got to tell it the way it is. And we can't be biased. I understand, you know, this person might be somebody's hero or, you know, just nationality speaking. I understand you want to ride with the person who comes from where you're from. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. Okay? When I look at Usyk, he doesn't represent me or anything, but he does because he's a boxer. I'm a boxer. So he represents me. But that's about it. You know, but I also have to be honest. And honestly speaking, Oleksandr Usyk is the unified heavyweight champion of the world. That's honest. That's honest. And we need to give him the respect he deserves. Give the man his flowers. He earned it. Earned it the hard way. You know? And he didn't take an easy path to where he's at. He didn't. And he's got some rough fights ahead of him as well. So whatever he's gaining whatever he has achieved. We need to respect what he's done and not minimize it by talking about somebody who's way smaller and saying that, he's pound for pound. If you listen, if you want to say Tyson Fury, because he's active, that's the reason why I'm mentioning him, because he's active and he's a champion. If you want to say Tyson Fury, and he was also a lineal champ, so if you want to say Tyson Fury over Usyk, that's a much stronger argument. But to sit there and say Canelo, are you kidding me? Look at the size of Canelo. I'm sorry, nothing is higher than the heavyweight championship of the world. That's really all I had to say in this video, and I really hope this video circulates, and I really hope people get out of their feelings and just start looking at things for the way they are, and not looking at it like it's a popularity contest. That's not fair. If we're going to look at it like that, who's selling more tickets? Then absolutely Canelo, absolutely. But then again, like I said, Manny Pacquiao is not that far removed, so therefore it's Manny Pacquiao. How about that? Like if we're gonna make that argument, fine, Manny Pacquiao. Like if that's what we want to do. But if we're going to be honest, there's nothing higher than the heavyweight championship of the world. So with that, I've said what I needed to say. As always, please circulate this video, please like this video, and please subscribe to the channel.